Hi there. Good evening. Welcome to this session on tech trends that will redefine a post-COVID-19 world. As Kavi said, I'm Luke Jones. I work for the Times newspaper in London. I'm a presenter on a recently launched radio network, formerly of the BBC. I was a presenter on the BBC World Series. I'm very pleased to say we have the brain of Mr. Rajnish Kumar to pick on the matter of tech trends that will redefine a post-COVID-19 world. He's the chairman of State Bank of India. And we haven't got very long, Mr. Kumar, so I'll get going if I may. First of all, before we talk about post-pandemic, I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about what the pandemic has done to the business that you do and the way that consumers interact with you.
So it has been a very different times, and the pandemic, it started in India sometimes around February, but March was the month when first time the lockdown was declared for 1 day and then extended lockdown. And banking is an essential service. So in a pandemic scenario, the responsibility of the banks to keep the wheels of the business and economy and the payment system, the responsibility was on the banking system in India that we keep that wheel going. And that is precisely what the banks have done. And there have been no major interruptions as far as the banking services in the country are concerned. And there are several reasons why we have been able to manage the operations in the manner we have managed it so far.
Such as what kind of thing? How have you managed to keep it going uninterrupted?
So one was, of course, there was a constant communication with the staff. And there are multiple channels through which today banking services are provided to the customers. So it is branch, it is ATMs, it is mobile banking, it is internet banking, it is kiosk banking. Kiosk banking is something where the business correspondents of the bank on an outsourced model, they manage some of the customer service points of the bank. And just to give you an idea that I have a branch network of 22,500 branches, 58,000 ATMs, and 62,000 customer service points of business correspondent.
Gosh.
And of course, the digital and the what we call digital channel, which comprise of internet banking and mobile banking, that is another channel. So because of the availability of the multiple channel, what I have observed that the disruption to the banking services was minimal. And most of the time, the disruption, if any, for the branch-led services, it was minimal depending upon the local conditions where some of our offices or branches had to be shut down on the orders of the local authorities.
And you say disruption has been minimal, but I wonder what kind of trends have you seen in terms of consumers that moving away from branches, moving away from physical interaction with the bank and moving more onto mobile banking and things like your Yono app and things like that? Is that what you've seen?
No, that will definitely stick because in any case, even before COVID-19, there was a trend where the transactions were moving out of the branches. And just to give you an idea that from my own bank experience, State Bank of India's experience, there has been a major shift in the number of branches which happen, number of transactions which happen at the branches. And as of now, only 7 out of 100 transactions happen at the branches. And at one point of time, 3 years ago, this percentage was 20 out of 100. So progressively, what we are seeing that there is a shift away from branches, and even there is a shift away from the ATMs. The number of transactions on ATM, they have come down from 55 to 29 per 100. And on the other hand, the digital transactions which are on mobile and internet banking, those transactions have gone to 55 out of 100 transactions. So this shift is permanent, it's going to remain, and people have experienced the convenience of digital and mobile banking. As a bank, also we are ensuring that the customer experience on our digital platforms is a top-class experience. and a convenient experience. So to the branches, only those people will come who can't, who can't help themselves, and they have to come to the branch for it. Assisted mode or a very high value transactions which are not possible on digital banking channels.
And from your point of view, is that trend, which started before the pandemic, as you said, and has been accelerated somewhat through the pandemic, is that a good thing for you from your position? Does it allow you to do more things with customers and for customers if they're connecting with you through an app rather than through a branch?
Absolutely. Because the cost of doing transaction at a branch is the highest, and it is the lowest for a digital transaction. And ATM or transaction through our customer service point, which are outsourced, that cost lies somewhere in between. So from the productivity and availability of services 24/7, that is a big benefit. And that is where, from consumer point of view, it is the convenience of having banking services 24/7. From bank's point of view, it is very, very economical in terms of the costing. And what also it enables the bank that the capability to analyze the customer data and tailor-made or improve the products and services which can be offered to the customer.
And does it help you as well, thinking about it from your position, in that the data and the analytics that you'll have on what customers are doing with their money is so much greater? That must help you a great deal.
Absolutely, because today, using the data analytics which is available to us, we are able to offer many, say, pre-approved loans. And the bank's digital lending book, it is growing. And whether pandemic or Saturday or Sunday, that business remains unimpacted. And that is true for what we call pre-approved retail segment personal loans, that is pre-approved business loans. So we are moving to a scenario where, based on the data analytics, and eventually even for the new to bank customers using the big data, banks will be able to offer instantly the loan products, and that is a big benefit to the banks.
And look far ahead for me in terms of this trend. Are we edging closer to, and are we quickly getting closer to, the end of physical branches, actual branches, and physical money and notes and coins?
Not really, and it can differ from country to country also. For a country like India, where we have 1.3 billion people and all strata of society, in such an environment, the physical presence helps and visibility helps. The necessity for physical will remain. The size and the shape of the branches will change. And now, any new branch we are opening, it is branded as a digital brand. For example, State Bank of India, our digital banking brand is YONO. You only need one. Now, all the branches are also being redesigned, and they are being renamed as YONO branches, means digital branches. And the way to look at it, that ultimately the bank will become a platform and branches will become the nodes for sales and after sales service.
I wonder then what you need from the Indian government, either at a sort of national federal level or local government, what you need to ease this trend and to make it easier for you and for customers to enjoy some of the benefits of digital banking. Is there anything that especially you need in terms of infrastructure?
So digital infrastructure or telecom infrastructure, that is what the role of the government would be, because anything to do with digital, the ecosystem around it, availability of power, availability of telecom infrastructure, so those things are very much needed. But other than that, what I'm finding that there is a big push from the federal government, or what we call the central government in India, towards the digital, and not only for banking services, but for all type of government services, which can make the life of an ordinary citizen less cumbersome. And there India has an advantage. And when our Prime Minister Modi in 2014 on Independence Day, he announced a big financial inclusion program. And after that, almost 400 million new accounts were added by the banks, and these were earlier financially excluded. And this is all riding on the what we call GEM Trinity. Jan Dhan account, which is the accounts especially named for the financial inclusion accounts, Aadhaar, which is a unique identity card every Indian now carries, and the mobile banking. And this GEM Trinity is driving the digital infrastructure in the country and the financial inclusion and all the government benefits by way of direct benefit transfer. So the banking system has created that capability that every nook and corner of the country, the banking system is now capable of delivering money which government wants to give to the underprivileged people like poor farmers, landless farmers, the people with low income. So this is a revolution and its benefits are immense for the country and the overall economy and as well as the upliftment of the poor people.
And just finally and briefly, if you told us about what you are doing in the bank, you told us what the government is doing. Obviously, a lot of innovation in terms of finance comes from lots of fintech startups. Have they got the support they need, and are there enough of them around pushing the frontier forward in terms of what you might be able to do in many years to come?
No, absolutely. And Fintechs is a great story in our country, and they are sometimes really very, very innovative. And the model which we have adopted is that is sort of a partnership or collaboration with the fintechs. And in many areas, not only the transaction banking or underwriting the credit, we are using them for cybersecurity, we are using them for data protection. So there are many, many areas, and many brilliant innovative ideas are coming from the fintech, and a lot of brilliant ideas and innovation is happening within a legacy bank also. We are a legacy bank, we are an incumbent bank, but a lot of innovation is happening inside, and we don't hesitate in collaborating with the fintechs, and that is how the bank is becoming a front runner as far as the digital banking is concerned.
Thank you very much. We're out of time. That was fascinating. Thank you so much. That's Mr. Rajnish Kumar, who is chairman of State Bank India. I'm Luke Jones from the Times newspaper in London. Thanks very much for spending time with us. Back to Kavya.